On to callers. We've got William in Henderson, Nevada. How you doing?
Hey, William.
Hey, guys. I'm great. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
You sound great.
Awesome. I am wearing a silly hat because I'm not grayed out. But
Okay.
my question was primarily, do you think faith inhibits society?
Oh, society.
Oh, okay.
That's a little bit different than the question we were expecting. But can you give me a little bit, like, what do you consider faith? How do you define faith?
Religion, such as Christianity. Let's say that is a specific example. Do you think Christianity inhibits society?
I think that it can. I mean, that's as fair an answer as I can give. I was reading recently, in fact, some history around 1832, and I know that's a little bit older than today, but it had to do with the Cherokee Nation and the Trail of Tears. And one of the things I noticed was that there were a handful of missionaries who actually advocated for the Indians and did what they could to get their cases brought to court and help them out. Some of those missionaries were working with them in the context of being on their land, because it wasn't a reservation at the time, it was their land. And they were translating Bibles with them. So they were there in the capacity of working for the church, but their capacity of being there allowed them to empathize with the Indians that they were with and to help them out with bringing their cases to court and going through to SCOTUS to get them the right to their land, which ultimately did them no good. But at least they did go through court, and they were advocated by these ministers or by these missionaries. I feel, though, that people can empathize and help and advocate even without religion. In this specific case, though, I understand that it was their religious beliefs that actually had them involved in those Native American communities. So I think there are some cases where religion has been useful, like there were people when we had the Underground Railroad that advocated helping with that because they felt like it was their religious duty. But at the same time, you had people that were advocating slavery because they felt that was their religious right, and they felt like that was the way that God had set it up. I think sometimes a church can serve as a hub for people who really just want to do good things. And what I would really love would be to one day see these hubs primarily be focused on just good and not necessarily be promoting things that may not be well substantiated from an evidence point of view, to where you don't have to believe in something that is not well supported in order to do social good. I would prefer to see that, but I would say that if you're talking about Christians, there are certainly Christian churches and Christian groups that do a lot of social good, but I think that the supernatural beliefs may be ultimately detrimental, and telling people to believe things before they're actually evidenced may not be the best mode of helping people think in the best way, I suppose, or the way that would help them best negotiate reality in other areas of their life. Does that make sense?
It does. It sounds like you're saying it is an inhibitor to their worldview.
So, yeah, there's a quote from Weinberg that is, without religion, good people will do good things and bad people do bad things, but it takes something like religion to get good people to do bad things. There's a handful of problems with that quote, but when I look at it, when I see religious organizations have done good things all over the place throughout our history, but none of those things required religion or required the truth of the propositions that religion makes or made. So creation of universities and feeding the homeless and the poor and stuff like that. These things churches have done them and they're good, no denying it. But would those same people who participated in those, who are the ones who should really get the credit, they're the ones donating their time, whether they think they're doing it because, if they're only doing it because they think their religion told them to, are they really that good? I mean, if they're doing it because they actually care about people, isn't that better than I'm doing this because it's the way I demonstrate that I'm a decent person so that I can get into heaven or avoid hell and things like that?
Well, yeah, and just to point out, just to let you know, it may not be this way everywhere, but I know that here in Texas, we'll get letters to the editor sometimes where conservative religious people will write in to say, They don't want tax dollars going to welfare, to charitable, welfare needs. And their argument is that it's not really charity if they're forced to donate. So they literally stand in the way of social welfare for people that are in need because they feel like they want their church to own it. And so they don't want society to take that on and to start taking care of it. I know that this is, not every religious person. I'm saying this is how I've seen many highly conservative people reason, and I feel like that's a detriment for sure.
Right. I would blame that more on their policies than religion, though.
Well, but they are happy to donate. They just want to make that donation a choice. But the problem is, people's ability to survive shouldn't be based on a choice that their society makes. It needs to be...
No, I agree with you 100%, and I think it's a scapegoat. I think they're lying. I think they're just saying they want to donate, but then, once they're not forced to, they wouldn't. But I have a question for Matt, if I may, sorry to derail from the topic.
Yeah, let me finish up with this topic real quickly, though, by saying my take on this is that we don't need anything at all like religion in order to motivate people to do good things. And for a while, I used to, offer up like a steak dinner to anybody who could demonstrate something real and true and substantive that can only come from a religion, in fact, being true. Because you can motivate people with lies, and you can motivate people with empathy and compassion. And so when we talk about does religion inhibit society or work towards its benefit, well, it's a mix of both. But on the whole, I would say that some of the ways that it's inhibited society are incredibly impactful in a negative way, to retard progress in certain areas, especially when it comes to social justice issues or destroying the library at Alexandria, or pick your poison there. Yeah. What the Catholic Church has done in a number of different areas, and so
destroying families, ripping away rights. There's a lot of harm.
Right.
And so I've always said,
I would agree with you both there when it comes to extremely organized religion. But I don't think that's religion as an entirety as
right. But when I asked for a definition of faith, to be fair, you did say Christianity.
No, I was very broad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is take the good wherever you find it and get rid of the bad. And so to the extent that religions encourage some good things, I don't think we need the religions in order to encourage that, so get rid of them. But anyway, you had a second question.
Right. I just wanted to ask, would you ever debate G-Man?
Oh, I have no interest in actually debating him. Well, it depends on what you mean. So, the show isn't what I do for my job, but doing debates is. And the problem is, I've tried to actually engage in conversations with him. I don't like to just say negative things about, let's just say that he's not the most reasonable person on the planet, and I find it to be a waste of time, and I'm baffled why anybody pays attention to him anymore. And so while I'm setting up debates with, or trying to set up debates with William Lane Craig and Frank Turek and other, these are people who have a history of getting up in front of a podium and presenting a case and being respectful and professional. This isn't just with regard to G-Man. There's a ton of people on YouTube who don't have that at all. And I'd be happy to go on podcasts and have conversations with people. But if you're talking about like a formal public debate, I don't know if anybody would buy a ticket. So
well, I'm just talking about a YouTube debate, and I think it would be very popular between the two of you. I mean,
why would you think it would be very popular? Because I posted a video response to him that was like 35 minutes of pretty much me reading and explaining the Bible, and all he had to do was watch that video and post his actual responses. I gave him the opening to have a productive conversation, and instead what he does is, rants and calls me a coward and puts on like boxing headgear and I'm going to own Zor, the atheist. I mean, he's a buffoon, and I have better things to do with my time than try to debate with pigeons who are going to, knock the pieces off the board and poop all over it.
Right. I would just encourage you to do it. I mean, you can always back out if it does become disrespectful.
I don't need to. Okay, so you're encouraging me to do it. Do you know how many people have said, please don't ever engage with this buffoon again? Because it's ridiculous. I mean, so like, let's say somebody from the Flat Earth Society or the Inflated Earth model decides that they want to debate, some moderately prominent physicist or geologist on the history of the Earth. Should that happen? Should we waste time?
Absolutely. I mean, wasting time is subjective. I mean, if you have free time and you're getting paid to do it, it's not really a waste of time, and it's just going to be a pub stomp, right?
Why would you want that? So here's the thing: if we're about having good discourse and we're about having good conversations and making people think, what good does it do to have, like, if you want to be known, if you want to have people view you as like a good basketball player, do you go down to the kindergarten and start swatting them out of the way as you go up and dog stomp the basket over and over again? I mean, the people who find that sort of thing entertaining, I think they make me sick. I mean, that's the level that we're kind of talking about.
Well, thanks for calling me sick real quick, but I just enjoyed
you would actually want to see an NBA player swat kindergartners around on a court?
No, but I would compare that to the Flat Earth Society there. What I would liken it to is the Flat Earth Society does have some coherent arguments that can be easily refuted by a young child. Right?
Okay, so if they have arguments that can be easily refuted by a young child, let them debate young children. And if they get past the young children, then they can come after those of us who actually know something. So go find some young children for G-Man to debate. Anyway,
well, that was a little far, but thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, William.
I gave him every opportunity, and I'm sure he's going to get another one, because my understanding is that he might be on one of these other lines.
Well, that was a very happy call, and I just want to note that they identified William as theist. So just FYI, that was a theist caller.
Yeah.
And because it wasn't really obvious from the call, I don't think.
It's all good.
No, I'm just saying, people are always like, you should have theists on. Well, he was a theist.
Yeah, it was at least listed as a theist, or
he identified as
we
such.
will assume